Hi everyone, this is Preet here on behalf of Aldar Developers. So I'm recording this video for my clients, and the purpose of this video is very simple. I'm starting this series again, which I have actually paused in the last 3 6 months, right? So what I used to do earlier is basically I used to record myself in a video where I'm presenting an information rightly, where I'm basically having conversation with a client, right, in a natural way. So in today's video, what I'm going to from today's what I'm going to start is basically a new series where I can talk with people like you and explain you the projects rightly to you, all of you all, right? So starting with the first, point, that let me just define what is going to be outline of the videos. So it's a 20-minute presentation video where I'm going to explain the location of the project, where I'm going to explain the developer, where I'm going to explain the what is the problem statement that particular location is solving, right? What are the demand drivers and supply, and more importantly the USP of the project, which is very important, right? And when you look at the developers, so obviously pros and cons are the stuffs that you look into it, so that you can have the understanding about the what I can say. Pros and cons is basically what kind of projects the developer has delivered, what is the finances of developer, right? Finances of developer, and what is financial health of the developer, and what is the basically you can say what is the financial health of the developer. And another point could be, you can add it the timeline, history, like how a developer actually what kind of projects they have delivered, and how what is their handover. Whenever developer they have certain histories, like whether do they deliver on time or not, right? So that is something that we all want to know, because if we are not getting handover on time, so that affects our cash flow, that affects our all life, because it's not just let's say I'm an end user and I have invested into off-plan project, and I was expecting handover till this year, but because developer has delayed 1 year, so now I have to manage that 1 year of extra rent from my own pocket, right? Which is extra burden for me, which not that is not just 1 month 1 year extra rent, but that is 1 year of extra headache, right? 1 year of extra month that I'm losing, and 1 year of that where I could save that money, right? So technically I'm losing 400k money. So it's very important to know history of developer. And then obviously community is something that is something that we all want to know about community, like what is the USP of that community, what is the total land parcel of that community, right? What is the total land parcel of that community, what is the number of units that particular community is having, and what was the price point of different cluster, right? So this thing actually helps us to evaluate the project rightly, right? That is the whole point of the entire conversation of pitching, like a 20-minute pitch, right, where I'm getting across my most important points in front of the audience, and they can understand, they can listen, right? And obviously fourth point will be your configuration, where we're discussing about payment plan and the stuffs, everything, right? Payment plan, the actual cash flow breakdown, right? So now the question is that I was doing this last time as well, so what I can do differently this time is actually I can in each time I would improve. Each time of the every day I would improve only 1%, only one thing that I would going to improve, right? And what could be that one thing that actually I will even decide now. So for example, in one video I am using opposed language. What is opposed language? Like, would you be against are you against investing into the real estate? Are you against investing into investing into Al Ghadir community? Do you hate Aldar as a developer? Right. Are you Would you be upset if I share you why Aldar developer is a good developer? Right. Would you be upset if I share you if we review the cash flow and this decide whether it matches with your comfort cash flow that you're planning to put? So these kind of questions that I can like practice. So a post question, and this could be in real time, right? Because real time actually helps me to. I'm basically putting myself in an uncomfortable zone where I know that this is very unpredictable, right? So I have to get my point across. And earlier, like what I has to do earlier is one thing, two thing. Like I used to put myself in a situation like, what is the one thing that I know about developer? Okay, how can I explain to that thing to someone whom I don't know, whom like basically I don't know that I don't have enough information about the developer. So how can I explain that? So one thing that I know about developer is that your developer matters a lot, right? When it comes to investing into the real estate, why does why does developer matters a lot? Because when you invest with a good developer, they just not make sure that your property gets delivered and it's constructed. It's basically a machinery is getting involved into delivering a property which is going to define the address of your life, which is going to define identity of your life. So developer is that much important place in your life. It's just not about who is constructing the property, right? See, in the market there are two types of investor who they evaluate, they think that developer does not matter, and the second time they actually take seriously the developer. They add into the parameter when it comes to evaluating a property. They think that I can invest into reportage and I can make money, but that's a wrong approach fundamentally, right? So that's why I think this, see what I'm doing right now again, three steps. So there's three steps to choose a good developer. First, evaluate what is the history of the developer, right? First, check the history. Second, what kind of properties they have delivered, check their quality, check their timeline. Third thing that you need to look is that obviously what kind of satisfaction ratio of that developer with their existing customer. Are people satisfied or are they complaining? What is the satisfaction ratio of particular that developer, right? Not just one project but across the project. Obviously not every developer is project, there will be some here and there, but you have to look at, is that consistent pattern that just happened because of some external factor which was out of the control. I mean, if you see in 2008, like a major crash has been came into global market, right? Lehman Brothers crash and global housing crash. That those were two major crash which those were major events which has happened into the world, which has occurred into the world, and people actually because of that particular chain of reaction, a lot of like developer has faced the financial issue in the like deliberation they have faced. So you need to look at such events, even those such events which developer has actually performed and which developers were average, which developers were not able to perform, right? So you need to look those stuffs. And how do you do that? That's you evaluate the finances, you look at the history, you look at the these three things which I've shared with you now. Now what I'm doing right now, I'm doing actually practice of certain topics, certain techniques over here, right? First I did 1, 2, 3. I did the practice, I put this concept on developer, and while I was having the content inside of the head, but because this three structure actually give me these three, using these three, like the 1, 2, 3, one thing about developer, two steps, three things, two types or two steps, or two types and three steps. This actually give me good structure to deliver this information rightly with you, and it give you good framework to you as well, right? This structure only. So this is just what I applied. Now in the consequences videos, I'm going to take one thing which I'm going to apply in my communication style, so that it gets across to my head and eventually it improves, right? Because how do I know that am I improving or not? How do I know that if I'm not doing the practice in front of the camera? How do I know that am I improving or not? So one thing I see, 1 2 3, now this is one thing that I could practice again and again. Second thing, let's say I have to define a project and I have to explain in very short and impactful way. So what would be that way? And I have to come across immediately. I have to take a different points of a project and I have to deliver most impactful point. So let's say Boulevard Park. I'm explaining a Boulevard Park. So which tier 1 developer is offering you on CXZ Road? Which tier developer, like in today's market, which developer is offering you a project in a master community on CXZ Road next to a metro station, where near to all the worship places at this price point? Which developer is offering you? This is one way that I just got across whole USP of Boulevard Park. Let's say I'm explaining Aldar, right? So which tier 1 developer is offering you a townhouse villa in a master? Which tier 1 developer is offering you townhouse villa at this price point? A 2-bedroom townhouse. Which tier 1 developer is offering you townhouse villa at this price point? There is no. Which tier 1 developer is offering you townhouse and enter to townhouse which is premium category? Which tier 1 developer is offering you in the current market at this price point? There is no. So again, it's a good point. So if I have to come across with one other impactful point, the price point was the one thing. So let's say again I have to come across which, if I want to invest near to 3 major employment zones: Gizad, Dubai Industrial City, Zavza, which community I have the option today? Which is the most convenient community that I can invest today? Which is the most, if I have to invest today, which is the center of all these communities, which is the one option that I have where people are currently living? It's not future, it's ready. It's not future, it's ready, right? This one is like one impactful point could be. Third could be, I am in front of client, and let's say if I want to invest into a townhouse of Aldar developer, Aldar against a tier 1 developer, so what option do I have today in the market? If I want to enter in Abu Dhabi in townhouse villa category from a tier 1 developer, what option do I have? You don't have any option. That is why Aldar is getting sold out. That is why Al Qadir phase 1 got sold out. Orchid launch got sold out. So this approach of impactful question, again I'm using here. How am I coming with this question? Because I am doing the live practice over here. If I am not doing the live practice, so how am I going to come across with my points in my presentation? That's the right question that I want to ask with myself. So I don't want to make this 20 minutes of more of like what I can say is like a boring way, or more of 20 minutes where I'm not seeing any improvement. This time I will do something different. Last times I was trying to improve the wordings which I'm using, but this time, let's say, speaking with calmness, speaking with pause, speaking with fast, slow, speed, with this approach, like this actually fundamentally is going to improve my speaking style, right? So that's what I can do, not just speak about the developer. I mean, again, that is a structure to have a mastery over that. I can explain any project in 20 minutes. That's a good approach to have it. So that is one thing that I can, every day doing something different, and one thing is improving. So one thing that. Second thing that I can improve, let's say using, I'm never split the difference. Why haven't I been able to apply it till now? That right? Let's say I'm using would you hate me? So would you hate me if we meet over a cup of coffee? Would you going to hate me if we meet over a cup of coffee? Would you going to hate me if I just take your 2 minutes? Would you going to hate me if I explain you the value proposition of this project? Would you going to hate me if I like if we sit over a cup of coffee? Would you going to hate me if I would it be unreasonable to meet our developer office for 20 minutes? Would you going to hate me if we discuss the just numbers of this project? Would you going to hate me if we if I share you the details on WhatsApp? Would you hate me if I call you in the evening and have your feedback? Have your feedback on this project? Would you going to hate me if I give you a call back in the evening and you and have your feedback on the project? Or let's say I ask to the buyer is that would you going to hate me if I recommend you something? Would you going to hate me if I recommend you something? Or would you going to hate me if I let's say customer's price high? So would you going to hate me if I say that prices, I mean if I explain you why the prices are high? Okay, would you going to hate me if I quickly explain you why the prices are high? So see, I'm using again this question that which I haven't been used ever. So how am I able to use this question immediately? There's only one way that I'm doing right. One thing that I'm doing right is that with this 20 minutes of practice, actually I have to do more. I'm realizing I haven't done till now. But with this 20 minutes of practice, actually what I'm doing essentially, see, real estate is all about talking. How much you can talk and how much you can listen, how much you can, how effective your communication is. That is all about is the communication is. That what's all about. That's what is communication is. So each day, I can let's say I'll just do this now. Pitch anything. What is the framework of pitch anything? Set the expectation. So how can I actually apply it naturally? The method is strong. Set the expectation. Yes, tailor the hook point. Reveal the intrigue. Offer the price. Nail the hook point. Tell the story. T, tell the story. G, get the offer. So that is the what I can say whole framework. And with that whole framework, what am I essentially trying to achieve is that what am I essentially is trying to achieve is that so how can I actually apply it? So let me just let's say my customers, I'm pitching this. So I can say that this is not a normal project. This is by a tier 1 developer. This is not a regular project. This is by a tier 1 developer. This is one, again I set the frame. This is not a normal project, but this is by a tier 1 developer. Tell the story. See, you will see many launches coming in Dubai, but you will see very rare launches which are coming by Aldar developer, an Aldar developer, right? Tell this, or a tier 1 developer with coming this concept. So I tell the story. STR, intrigue. What is the intrigue? What is the curiosity into this? So the curiosity could be into like this, that which tier 1, just to have your attention, which tier 1 developer in the market is offering you a townhouse at this price point? Which tier 1 developer is offering you townhouse in this price point? There is no tier 1 developer. So STR, the R is completed. Now I'll go to offer the price. Offer the price. What is the price? The price is, sir, see, the product So this project is giving you the option to enter in a townhouse at 2.1 million. Offer the price. The price. Nailed hook point. What is hook point? So from last 3 years, from last 1.5 years, Allah has never not launched a single townhouse villa category. From last 2 years, there has been no launches from a tier 1 developer that where a townhouse villa has came up with this category with this price point. Get the offer. So that's why I'm saying, so let's meet for a minute. And let's evaluate the option at least. I'm not saying you should be actually buying the product, but I'm saying, sir, you should at least evaluate it. Why I'm saying evaluate it? Because it makes sense to evaluate it. So this framework, again, I use this framework and delivered actually. So what is this 20 minutes is going to do for me is actually going to make me better like anything. That's what I feel now. Now I feel like I have to do more, but I just like it. I just love it, right? I just love it. So with this 20 minutes method, what am I going to do is basically I can implement different stuffs into my communication style. So one is like having pause when having conversation, right? I can take pauses and I can talk like I want to do something which nobody can do, or I can talk like yeah, I understand. I get your point. Right. I understand. So now, what I was doing, I was having a slow conversation. Why is that important to you? You don't love me? Seriously? So now what I was trying to do over here is talk very slow. When you talk very slow, people actually listen to you. Now I have your attention. This is called, earlier I was speaking like anything. Now I'm speaking very slow and very relaxed. So what does this happen with this approach is that we get to a point where we can communicate our ideas in a way we want to get it across, right? So let's get to the point. With this 20 minutes, I'll pick one thing and I'll apply it live in front of the camera. Second thing, and it's not necessary that I can do one thing, I can do two things, three things, but whatever the amount I want, right? So this 20 minutes is very important. One, so like there's the 10 things I obviously which I want to apply. If I say strong method, I want to apply. Second, the challenger sales, which I wanted to apply. Third, like when giving presentations, so that's one thing which I wanted to apply, right? Improving delivery. Fifth, speaking slow, relaxed. 6th, you know, the like never split the difference. 7th, impactful questions which I wanted to apply, right? So 3, 2, 1, which I want to apply. Yes question which I wanted to apply, right? So this will actually help me talking in front of camera, coming across as natural, speaking with smile. So I mean, there's a lot of fun with to do with this. Closing a client, building a rapport. Wow, what a nice. Building a rapport, which I think actually, let's do it. Let's experiment with this as much as we can do, and I'm gonna kill it. That's for sure. That's for today. Have a good day. Have a good day. Bye bye. Take care. So, and last thing, it's a 30-day challenge where minimum is 20 minutes, med is 30 minutes, max is 60 minutes. So I have a lot of time,